Welcome aboard for another video.
Thanks, Conductor Keith. Hi. The purpose of today's video is cement. Cement and sand mix, actually. And so I'm going to show you how I use cement sand mix for various things across my large-scale railway here for scenery. What I am using is this sand mix. It's a powder with sand in it, cement, cheap. Before I get into this video, I'm going to tell you the disaster that I had. I decided to try to spread it around like you would normal sand or scenery material and then wet it with water, but that didn't work. You know, when you're building roads, you have to wear proper safety gear. Instead of mixing it with water first, I've experimented by putting it down dry and then using a dropper to go along and soak it with water. So this is screwed down now, so it won't move. And I take water, easy cheesy, and I just drip it on as I go, and it doesn't take long. This stuff soaks up the water really fast, and it starts to creep. You see it creeping. I don't know if you can see it on the camera there, but it starts to creep along. Then I work on another area, and I come back to this area, and it's creeped along several, centimeters or inches. Well, we'll see what happens. What's the worst can happen? I mean, the worst that can happen is I don't like the look of it when it's dry, and I recover it with something. And that's exactly what I had to do. So I just wetted it with water, thinking, well, that'll be okay. But now this is how it's dried. Now, what do I do with that? It looks kind of not right. And it's still drying a little bit, but that's the area for the military. I don't know. I really don't like the look of this one. I tried 2 coats of paint, watered paint. It just soaks in, and this is the result after all that. Still looks kind of weird. No matter what I try, it comes out looking weird, see? I'm gonna leave it there on the paths. But holy moly. Yeah. Okay, I'm done with trying things. Now next step is to buy paint and dose on a heavy blob of paint over it. Well, that just looked awful too. So after trying various things for various days, I broke down and bought some N-scale ballast from Woodland Scenics. It's still not completely dry by the dark spots, and this is still a bit soft, but looks better, eh? When the figures and the cars and stuff are on there, I find this acceptable. Funnily enough, it worked here. It actually didn't look as swirly and weird here as badly as it did on the previous lot there. But thing is, this is tanks, right? And see that weird circle? Well, we can assume that, tanks do turn this way. So I don't mind it here at all. In every other use I used it for, it worked brilliantly. For making rock faces, just easy to go on, dried nice and hard. It's lovely. I made this rock face by cutting styrofoam with my styrofoam cutter and painted it because I didn't know what might show through or whatever. But anyway, it's a nice shape, and let's see what happens. So these hills are about to get a treatment. I am mixing cement. Well, let's see how that dries. I'm just going to do this part, and then when that dries, I'll do the next bit up, and etc. until I'm done. I also made the hidey hole staging tunnel for my 32mm gauge narrow gauge track out of styrofoam and this cement mix as well. Where it really worked well was for road crossings. Mix it up. It's not much more than this consistency. It's through trial and error. A little bit wet. You want it not very, very putty-like. There you go. I'm just gonna dope it on. And this would be like you'd use plaster or decorate a cake and just start spreading it around. Just work it in, just like plaster. I know this stuff is a warning on it that it's corrosive, but so far I've just done little bits with my finger here and there just to shape it. And, make sure that the flangeways are clear, like that. Just make sure the flange waves are clear. And I just keep doing this until I'm satisfied when I look down at it that it's somewhat smooth. Yeah. I'll come in a sec. My son's doing his Lego. So my road is set in the 1950s, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It's like it's hand done. This is a cash-strapped Pencross Railway anyway. That's my shtick. It's cash-strapped at any time. So this is just hand-raked concrete, and it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. Perfectly fine. Here it's hardened, but not completely dried out. This is the first one I did. Not as smooth. I think the ones I just did are going to be smoother because I've just been experimenting with the concrete, so it's coming. And this is the large size stirrer, paint stirrer. And at Home Depot, you know, you get the regular paint stirrer, but sometimes if you buy a big tub of paint, they'll give you the large stirrer. Well, this is a large stirrer and it's just absolutely perfect for there. I'll weather that up a bit. So this is the parking area for the houses that are back here. And so I've just put the concrete there to their concrete walkway. So we'll see how that turns out. And again, a large paint stick stirrer. The extra I had left over, I just piled around like that to make little rock piles that I can put scenery around. Here's another one. You can sort of tease it up, you know what I mean? Like just tease it up to make it more rocky. Anyway, I can't do this with the phone in my hand very well, but you get the idea. Great thing about it is I discovered that it doesn't actually stick. I just tapped it a little bit and it came right off. So you can put it anywhere you want now, but it's just the extra stuff. You might as well use it. Imagine, you know, with this kind of scenery around it and sprinkled over it, some bushes and stuff, it'll just look like a rock. There you go. So after finishing all the ballast of the railway and the road crossings, I thought it would be best to drive around and do a survey. The camera on the rail car, we'd pick up any little jiggle motion or grit sound that might occur along the track. And it all went really well. I have to say, Conductor Keith was quite pleased. When the scenery's around here, it's going to be awesome. Now this is, we just ran some live steam here, Michael, Franklin, and I. And so you can see how it's wetted all the track. That was fun too. This stain right here is some steam oil that's been dropped on there, that as well, from a live steam locomotive run. So that's nice. It's going to weather itself quite well. All of this is dried nicely. And the hill. Now with the hill, I initially put a layer across the bottom. And then afterward, put some more on the top. And it weirdly made these color changes, which I don't mind actually. So right there on the top, of course, and scattered around, there's going to be some scenery materials. It's going to look really nice, I think. So why don't we have a look at the trains going over the crossings and just to see how good they look. Well, the Friar is here watching trains, of course. He hopes that you hit that like button, that you comment. We love all comments, that you subscribe, but most importantly, share this video so we can help encourage our hobby. Oh, Henry, they're awfully proud of their new road crossings. They are indeed, Marge. Yes, they are indeed. And they're running all kinds of trains over them just to have a look. They're also proud of the edges of their artificial pond. This blue house is actually where the friar lives. Now, the friar doesn't own it. It's a friary. It's owned by the Franciscans, but he lives there. The other friars that normally live in there as well, they're off on sabbatical, but the friar and his dog and the friary cat are known by all the locals here as very good neighbors. That rock work off to the right-hand side there is what I hope is the beginnings of a nice backdrop along that wall. I hope that the hill up in the background there will look even better with an extension of it painted up on the wall.